This episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Netflix. We were fans of the first Trine, so why not give the sequel a spin? Today we check out Trine 2.
We were all big fans of a game called Trine by Frozenbyte, and now Trine 2 has come out. It came out at the end of last year, and with all the huge releases and the holidays and the new year, we didn't want to let it go by without talking about it because we were such big fans of the first one, and they added the biggest feature that I think all of us would have liked to have seen, co-op. What is Trine? Well, if you remember from the first one, Trine is a game, side-scroller game where you play one of three classes, a thief, a wizard, and a fighter, a warrior type. And you can swap between them at any time, and they each have different abilities, and there's a series of obstacles and puzzles and things you're collecting, and each of these characters has a way to achieve most of the, solve most of the puzzles as you go through. And so all the puzzles sort of have multiple ways of attacking them. The wizard can create boxes, these sort of clockwork boxes out of thin air and levitate things. The thief has a grappling hook, and the fighter is best at obviously fighting, but can also block and do kinds of cool things with his shield.
Stuff.
Yeah. Now the new game incorporates co-op, so you can have up to 3 people playing all these 3 characters. Alex.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you thought of the Trine 2.
Well, first off, gorgeous game.
It really is.
Shockingly gorgeous. Doesn't need to be this gorgeous. One of those games where you're like, why are you so gorgeous? You don't need to be. You're smart. You don't have to be pretty.
You don't have to get by on your looks.
You don't have to be pretty.
It really is
so the
more.
milieu is really fun, and I feel like it actually takes the sort of tropes that we know, the sort of thief, hunter person, the warrior. I mean, the warrior plays sort of like you want a warrior to play, but I think the grappling hook with the thief and the magic user, the wizard guy, really knocked the tropes of, I mean, there's no fireball, you know what I mean? Like, you're building boxes and levitating stuff.
Yeah.
Not usually your mage in most games, you know what I mean? So, and you can level up all the different ones, which of course is a great RPG fun. But the ability to swap so elegantly between the different characters at will really makes the puzzles.
What'd you play on?
The PC.
Interesting.
Me too. What'd you play on?
Xbox 360.
Interesting.
Because I couldn't, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
When we reviewed the first game, it had not yet been released on consoles, so I played the first one on the PC. And whatever, this is my review.
I'm very excited. This is my review in a second.
Yes.
But so it's really great because you get presented with these puzzles and you're not just thinking, how do I apply the skills that my character has to the situation? You're thinking, what of the characters that I have and the skills that they have, what would be the best way for me to solve this puzzle?
Yeah.
And really, as you said, most of them can do any of the puzzles. So you really are in this situation where it just kind of comes down to, and I found myself, in trying the original one, I kind of stuck with the archer most of the time, sort of my giant, you know what I mean? And for whatever reason, in this iteration, I found myself jumping back and forth a lot more. And I can't remember if you even had the option to switch in time.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was just always the archer chick. And with this one, I really was enjoying the sort of bopping back and forth, you know what I mean? Like doing the wizard and then, oh God, they're bad guys, switching to the fighter, killing them.
You really can be creative with how you approach things, right? Because you have so many options at your disposal. It's how your sort of creative solution to that.
Yeah, and I didn't end up playing any of the co-op stuff, which I would have loved to have tried because again, that to me is
you would have loved
games.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's such a great game. I mean, it really
we should have played.
Yeah, I didn't play co-op either.
Really?
It's like
the big feature of this one.
Text people, text.
Yeah.
We got to do a group me.
Sounds like the 2 guys who didn't play it should have talked to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe the guy who played it should have invited
Been
us.
like, hey, I played it. You guys got to play it.
My girlfriend and I had a great time playing co-op.
Oh, you played it on the same
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah, you can play it online as well, but yeah, we played in the
Is
same
there a split screen at that? Probably not.
No, but
So one of you are each a character.
yeah, and each of you can swap into the character that you're not, But
only the character that you're
yeah, you can never be the same character at the same time.
Right.
But if you have 3 people, then nobody can swap
Same-
because everybody has one character.
Same levels. Oh my God, 3 people would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh,
then-
it's
We should have done it. We're
Yeah,
3 morons
those 3
sitting
of us.
here.
We
not-
are 3 morons.
Not
If only
trying
I
it.
knew 2 other people.
Yeah, who were
playing
playing
this
this
game
game,
at the
and
same
I
time.
knew it the exact same week they were playing it.
Right. God darn it. So, I agree. One of the most attractive darn games ever. And I agree. She's smart. She don't need to get by on her looks, but she does. So yeah, I remember playing this on the PC and wishing I was playing it on the Xbox because I wanted the maneuvering between my characters and what they do to be as graceful as when I play a God of War game and I'm switching between the weapons and and I really felt
played
like
it on the
needed
PC with a 360
with a controller. Yeah, I didn't when we reviewed the thing. That's kind of what this is. This is more about controller versus keyboard as opposed to PC versus Xbox. But and now playing it with the controller, I was wishing I was on a mouse.
Interesting.
Which leads me to believe it's not a perfect. It's not.
Leads me to believe you
precise-
just never satisfied.
That is satisfying. Always, grass is always greener.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it could be a more precise game because I was never able to. Nothing ever happened as fast as I wanted, or like the button layout. Something just wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. And the real problem is that the wizard. I feel like making the squares on a mouse is easy. Making it with my thumbstick wasn't.
But you don't have to be
ideal.
super precise.
You don't, and I learned that later. I was like, I could just make a little circle.
Yeah.
But then I was like, why do I even need to do that?
Give me a button.
magical.
If I
it's a
just
circle.
had a button,
Yeah. It's
it would
magical.
have done a lot. I think it would have done a lot. But all of the moves are just not. I love that it's a puzzle game. It exists in an interesting area between. It's not quite Limbo and Braid, which are platforming puzzle games,
yeah.
but you don't progress. You don't leave a screen until you solve that situation. And this Trine is basically that, but it doesn't like come outright with it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and the
like,
puzzles are more optional. Are more like you could get that really cool thing up there. You don't have to.
But even to get to exit the screen, there is puzzle solving, but I was never quite sure like if a guy would die, can I solve it without that person? I'm pretty sure I need to make a square to get up that high. And I was like, and when leveling things, I never knew what to level because I don't know. Geez, do I need fire sword to get through a certain area later? Should I be saving, or do I need levitate? And it's like. I just wish.
I think all that stuff just makes it easier. Makes things a little
but
easier.
It doesn't. I had a lot of worry and not pure fun playing the game because I never quite knew. Whereas I never had that concern with Limbo or Braid or any platforming. So there was. And this is a very laser-sided critique because so much of this game is awesome and fun. But if I had to square in on a flaw, there's something a little loose about it. Something a little loose. Other than that, it's phenomenal and a unique puzzle game, and a fun tone, wonderful narration. And
It's very storybook.
Yeah.
And even the art style, while I agree, is so sexy and just pops. And it uses a color palette that you don't see a lot of games use. There's so much color. And you often encounter large mythical beasts that take up 2/3 of the screen and are just there to traverse or just there to be interesting eye candy and the frog whose tongue comes out.
Yeah,
and
I
all
was
this
just
cool
thinking
stuff.
that. I was like, what was that thing? The
There's a
frog.
bunch of stuff like that though, and the snail, where you have to drop the. There's all kinds of really cool things, and I love the storybookness of it. I love the voiceover and the narration and the interaction of all the 3 main characters and how you hear the story from each of their perspectives, and the voiceover acting is quite good. And I really love the gameplay style. There's not much evolution from the first game, but that's okay because the first game was so great and there's so much fun because the physics are so good and the puzzles are all based on physics that, and I think I said this exact phrase when we were talking about the first game, is that you really get to be creative because you can just fudge the physics. Like, there's not necessarily one way to solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I managed to get that box to lean against that other thing.
And it's like not right. Like,
You know it's not right, but
yeah.
you did it that way, you know, and that's fun because it feels more like a sandbox, more like a playground of physics, and that's really great. And I don't know for sure, but it definitely feels like there's more combat in this one than there ever was in the first one, and that's really fun. The enemies are fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a great combat system, but I like that there's more danger.
It's enough that it's almost like what you said about Limbo and Braid, where it's sort of, it's a little bit of honey with the salt. Honey with the salt?
That's
I don't know,
disgusting. Nobody wants that.
So it's just this great honey salt mixture that you could make at home.
Salted honey.
No, but there's enough combat stuff that you're like, oh, it's kind of like a side-scrolling action game, even though really it's not.
Well,
that's not its thing, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it's fun to free
It sort of
somebody
lives
with arrows.
in its own weird hybrid between
Yeah.
all those things, and it does so really effectively. It's tons of fun. I will speak to the co-op stuff because I really
can
wish you guys.
only imagine that would be
We should have
amazing.
all played together because I didn't play with 3, and with 2, there is a level of bumbling that gets introduced. There's a little chaos that gets introduced, which is fun, but it can also be a little frustrating when you've got a plan of what to do, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to start with this character and then pop into that character, and then the other person pops into that character, and you're like, well, now I can't pop out of that character so I can pop into that character, you know, or they knock over a box that you set up, or something. You know, there's that a little of that. It does sound like I'm just complaining about my girlfriend, which I'm not. I'm not.
They don't
Never.
put dinner on the table for you.
Never do that.
This is the worst co-op ever.
No. But you know, there is some of that, and that can be fun too. You know, that sort of like
happy accidents.
Three Stooges is like whoop whoop whoop, you know, happening.
Yeah.
But the character models are so large, and the screen is sort of in relation to other action platformers. I think there's less real estate total on the screen. So putting multiple players on that real estate, it leads to more chaos, just necessarily.
It's the same game co-op. I asked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same levels.
Same levels.
Yeah.
But marvelous game, and it's really not that expensive. I can't remember the price point, but it's not.
$14.99 or something like that?
Yeah, it's really inexpensive, and man, it's just pure graphics alone. It's a wonder, and I
It's
think
well
you'll.
worth a test out.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's not. I think a game not to be overlooked. I think one of those that could definitely fall through the cracks at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't do that and check it out. 'Cause I
And
think
on the
you'll
Xbox,
like it.
I mean, you know.
And PS3 as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Trine 2.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, Dan Trachtenberg.
You're welcome. It took me a long time.
Dan
to finally
Trachtenberg
sponsor
has
the show.
sent in a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah. No, we want to thank Netflix, who you guys, I'm sure, are all aware of, but if you're not, they stream TV shows and movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. If you have a PC, a Mac, an Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, iPad, iPhone, whatever, you are able to stream those TV shows and movies directly onto that console. There's no wait times, no cancellation fee. You can cancel anytime. You can get a free 30-day trial membership. Go to netflix.com/TRS and sign up now.
Awesome. Well,
Do it!
Do it right now, and we will see you tomorrow.
Join us tomorrow when we take a look at the comics Fatale and The Activity.
Today's Twitter question comes from @Kiritsugu, who asks, "What is your ideal MMO? Well, just like video game playtime meal?"
I think MMO is very specific because
You're like not getting up.
you're not getting up,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
It's anything intravenously is my. I mean, I recently did this rant on We Can Confirmed about how I sort of don't like myself when I'm playing MMOs.
Yeah.
You know, because I literally I won't pick up the phone when it rings. I get.
Won't go to the bathroom as often.
I slowly turn into that South Park character. You know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Cliche and
I know.
whatever. The ideal MMO meal has been made for me by someone else. It's whatever is in front of me that I don't have to stop playing to play, and that's pathetic.
Wait,
Mine
I think
is-
we were playing and Priscilla had made.
Yeah,
something that
I
was-
remember that. And
I
we
was
were all
like, I was
on
like,
the
guys,
phone. We were like,
I know you,
you son of a bitch!
And it was
How does it taste?
Thing. I was so
Tell us how it
hungry.
tastes.
And it was so
She just
many
made me
little,
this amazing little thing and put
Oh,
it
it
in
was
front of me.
Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving meal. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mine is not a meal as much as
But it
of a
wasn't.
drink. It's a nice big tumbler of Jack Daniels on the rocks. That is me.
you live
Jack
on that,
Daniels on the
baby.
rocks. You've got your carbs, your energy.
Yeah.
You got your diuretic.
I'll tell you mine. So 2 things. One would be anything like a lollipop or something that you could suck on, so it lasts a long time.
Did not
You
just
don't-
bring up suckers.
You don't need to take your hands off of the keyboard to
like
eat
that.
it. You
I
know,
like
it's smart,
that.
right?
Yeah.
The other
I use a straw with my
just
Jack Daniels.
and just that's
all
so
right, I
gross. Just in thinking about this, I'm like, I gotta go home to 7-Eleven and pick this up on the way home. Totino's pizza rolls.
Oh, yeah.
They're terrible. They're terrible, but
Yeah.
oh so good.
Yeah, the other one is combos. Combos for me was
Oh, I
like video
bet.
game food.
Yeah, yeah.